Usually, mind you, travel advisories are issued by governmental departments like the State Department to keep citizens safe abroad. But now the NAACP is getting in on the travel advisory game to keep black people and people of color safe from Florida. Let's bring in Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, thank you for joining us. And again, we've been talking about this a lot for the last couple of days. NAACP is up to something. Not sure, maybe you can shed some light on that. But also, just talk about the opportunities for African Americans and also other minorities in the state of Florida.
Well, first of all, it's good to be with you. The NAACP, man, this is stupid. Honestly, this is stuff that you try to do to try to get clout, try to be important, try to think that you're relevant. This makes no sense at all. Look, taking Florida out of it for a second. Black people are thriving all through the United States. And frankly, where they're under assault more than anywhere else happens to be blue cities in some of these blue states where they can't even get law enforcement and DAs to actually do their job because of crazy liberal policy. That's number one. Now, specifically to Florida. In Florida, people are moving to our state. Black people are moving to our state. They're thriving. Their businesses were able to stay afloat through the pandemic. Their kids were allowed to actually go to school as opposed to California or Illinois or New York. So their kids are able to thrive and actually succeed and be ready for the rest of the world. That's what needs to be done. So when the NAACP comes out with this foolishness, it's all politics. It's trying to be relevant in a time where nobody's really paying much attention to them.
Well, no one was paying attention are the ladies of The View, because apparently a white Jewish woman from, I believe, New York, apparently knows what it's like to be a black person in America more than, say, you, Mr. Donalds. Take a listen to Joy Behar.
He's one of these guys who, he's like Clarence Thomas, black Republican who believes in pulling yourself by your bootstraps, rather than, to me, understanding the systemic racism that African Americans face in this country and other minorities. He doesn't get it, neither does Clarence. Right. And that's why they're Republicans.
Mm-hmm. And she was talking, obviously, about Senator Tim Scott, who yesterday announced he's running for president. But it's kind of ironic, huh? It's Joy Behar knowing more about black life than you.
Listen, Joy Behar is such a fool. I don't even understand what that lady's talking about. She's never walked a day in my shoes or Tim Scott's shoes or anybody else that's black in this country. All she's doing is running her mouth so she can keep her paycheck on The View. Period. That's what's going on. And if you think I'm wrong, Joy, bring me on the show and let's get into it, and we could do it live on The View. But that being said, I'm sick of these people who are on the left side of politics trying to lecture black people about what's good for black people. What about making sure our kids are getting the education they deserve? What about making sure that young black entrepreneurs have access to capital? Because under Democrat policy in the banking system, capital is shrinking away from small mom and pop businesses and fledgling businesses. Under Democrat policy in blue states, black kids are redlined to schools that are failing them, or they're trapped in a school that isn't the best for them, and they don't believe in giving their parents the ability to find a solution for their child's future. So people like Joy Behar, keep your opinions to yourself. I know they pay you to talk on The View, but you don't know what you're talking about, Joy. I do.
Mm-hmm. And then there's another one on The View who happens to be black, this one, and she had some opinions on it as well. Take a listen.
This cat down in Florida, I mean, black people know there's a problem in Florida. Yep. That's what I just wanted to say to the
Mickey Mouse knows there's a problem in Florida.
Everybody knows.
Problem.
Congressman, is there a problem for black people in Florida?
No. As a matter of fact, I'm quite sure Whoopi comes down to Florida and vacations a lot. So again, all they're trying to do is get clicks and get ratings for their show. But what's really disgusting here is that, once again, the left, because they can't make an actual policy argument, they got to divide the country, try to make a racial argument, try to make an emotional argument. But you don't live in Tampa. You don't live in Jacksonville, or as they affectionately call it, Duval. You don't live in Orlando or Miami. So she should be quiet, or even in my district in Fort Myers in Dunbar. She doesn't know what she's talking about. So it sounds good on TV, but where's the solution? Whoopi doesn't have one.
Yeah, and just of note, the NAACP issued that travel warning, not just for blacks, for people of color, which includes Hispanics and Latinos. And I'll tell you one thing, I love the culture. I love the Latino culture, and it is alive and thriving in Florida. And by the way, Congressman, if you get that invite to The View, I want to talk to you right after. It is definitely going to be a watchable hour, and I would love to talk to you afterwards. Congressman Byron Donalds, thank you for being here.
Thank you.